Hi everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome to another card making video. Today I'm going to show you how I made these adorable 3D paper pumpkins. I love making these for the fall season, and I use them actually as decorations in my house as well. I have a little one, so if she comes up to the table and grabs it, I know that it's not going to hurt her or she can't hurt it, and if for some reason she does, then it gives me an excuse to make another one. So let's go ahead and get started. First, what you're going to need is a piece of cardstock, and it's cut at 8.5 by 5. So I've already gone ahead and cut my cardstock, but before I cut it, I ran my sheet of cardstock through my Big Shot with the perfectly polka dotted embossing folder, and then that gave it texture as if it was pumpkin skin. So after I went ahead and ran it through, I cut my strip into, or I cut my piece into strips of 3/4 inch thick, and it should give you 11 strips. And this little teeny tiny strip right here is the only paper that you're not going to use. So after you go ahead and cut all of your 11 strips, what you need to do is you need to make a hole in each end of the strip. And the way that I did this is I used my Crop-A-Dile. And on the Crop-A-Dile, on either side, there's a punch. There's a small punch and a larger punch. And for this project, I'm using the smaller punch. So you want to go ahead and get a group of your strips in here. In the Crop-A-Dile, it's pretty durable, so it can do a few strips at once. And then I'm just going to go ahead and punch on either side. And the way that I'm going to make sure that all of my holes are even is I'm going to take one that I just punched, put it on top of my other strips, and then punch to make sure that I'm even. And normally it takes about 3 times or 3 groups of strips. Get my top one here, and punch. There we go. And then on this side. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have our holes done, get that excess paper out of there. What we need to do is we need to take a piece of ribbon, and I'm using the Gumball Green Stitch Satin Ribbon, and it doesn't matter the length of the ribbon. You just want to make sure that you get a good length. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this, and when I eyeballed it, if I was to measure, this piece would be about 15 inches long, and that's going to be way too big, but better way too big than not enough. So what we're going to do is clump your strips together with your hole, and I find that it's easy to use my stylus. I use the small end to help push my ribbon through. The big end doesn't fit through the holes, so you want to make sure to use the small end. So we're going to take our ribbon with our embossed side facing down. So our little bumps are going to be facing down. Take your ribbon with your stylus and push it through. And you might have to give it a little bit of a gusto because it is kind of a tight fit, but once you can grab it, then it'll pull right through. There we go. Okay, So after you have your ribbon through the hole, you want to have just a little tiny tail right there on the side where your bumps are. So a tail just really tiny. You're going to take a brad, and I'm using the Early Espresso neutral brad, but it doesn't matter what kind of brad you use because it's not going to show anyway. So on the side with the long strip on it, you're going to put your brad in there, and this is going to hold your ribbon down. Flip it over and undo the ends. So now it should look like this. So now comes assembling our pumpkin. What I'm going to do is I like to do it like this, and like this. I like to do it kind of like a crisscross thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to stick it through the hole like that, and then fold it up. Now you don't want to smash this down because you don't want to crease your pumpkin right there. You want it to be nice and full. So you're going to do this on each little strip, and then just keep folding them over. Pull it through and fold it over. Now I went ahead and I've already got one almost completely done here. So this is what it looks like this far. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish it real fast. Push it through and pull. And you can move these around once you get it going so you can, you know, get the coverage that you want. You know, some people like gaps in between each arm. I personally like them when they're closer together, so mine would be, you know, a fuller pumpkin, but to each their own. So you can kind of just, you know, move it around until you get it to look the way that you want. All right, ooh, last arm here. There we go. There. So now, once our pumpkin is the way that we like it, we're going to go ahead and tie a knot in the ribbon. And this is what's going to hold our pumpkin in place. So I'm going to tie actually a couple of knots right here. And the tighter you get it, the more, you know, sturdy your pumpkin's going to be. So if you want it more flat like that, then you want to make sure that you tie it tighter. And then one more knot right here. Just like that. And then go ahead and tweak it a little bit if you need to. And then we're going to cut our excess ribbon off, leaving just a little tail right there. So now to decorate the top of my ribbon, my pumpkin, I'm sorry, what I've done is I've used the Day of Gratitude stamp set, and I used that little leaf right there. I took Very Vanilla cardstock and I stamped that leaf in Lucky Limeade and Cajun Craze. And then I went ahead and cut them out. I'm also going to take a scrap piece of wild wasabi, and I'm going to cut it into thin strips. No real measurement, just, you know, the width that I want them. So just like that. I'm going to take my stylus or any tool that's round, and I'm going to roll them onto my tool. And it's going to give me that effect. Cute! Take a glue dot, put it on the end right there, and then stick it onto my pumpkin. Oh, adorable. Take my other one. That one didn't quite curl the way that I wanted it to. But you get the gist with just that one right there. Take another glue dot and take my leaf and then position these where I want them. And then stick them on there right there. Now, if your pumpkin doesn't balance real well, if it's really wobbly because the bottom isn't flat, go ahead and use your 1 3/4 circle punch, a piece of scrap, the same color as your pumpkin. Put some snail in the middle, and then stick that on your pumpkin. And that'll help it sit flat. So there you go. There is your 3D paper pumpkin. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and until next time, happy inking!